Welcome back to another edition of the podcast, Two Friends in the Movie with Matt and Sixto.
Well, with Sixto and Matt.
With me and Matt and Sixto. See, your name just goes better when it's last.
But it's not.
You can't go Sixto and Matt.
It does. Sixto.
No, it doesn't work that.
But then you can't do the
Matt
same.
and Sixto.
No. If you do that different, then it's like Sixto and Matt. Then it sounds more badass.
No, Matt and Sixto.
Whatever.
And then if we ever get a theme song, they'll just trail right in. Matt and Sixto.
The theme song is not going to be nothing like that. I guarantee you, because I'm going to record it soon.
Anyways.
Hopefully for the next
podcast. Look out for the Sixto theme song. Written and composed by Sixto.
That's right.
That's
correct.
The second man on the podcast.
I am not. And number one, it's not. I hate. No, don't do that because you can't. It's not. I'm not the second man. I am the other half.
The other half.
That's right. It's like an orange.
The second half.
No, not the second half. The other half. Saying other, not second.
I'm going second.
No, you suck. Well, after the great review, look, we just posted the first one, and this is honestly happening like a day after. But I'm gonna, because it's airing like a week after, I'm gonna say, since our last awesome podcast that got great reviews and a lot of views,
many people said I was right. I heard a lot of people saying,
many. All of those people were wrong. Fuck you. No, number one, that didn't happen. No,
took my side.
What happened was, everybody was calling Matt LaMartina an asshole and an idiot for not liking Star Wars.
Not one person
said that. As I told them, everybody said
not
it
one.
in the thread that got created under the.
I didn't see any. My name was not mentioned in any ill will on the podcast.
It was a bunch of what the fuck are you, an idiot?
They're like, oh my god, I never thought of it like that. Thanks for opening my mind.
No one said that.
That's what I heard.
Well, anyways, we are here back, and in what was supposed to be Jaws. But not Jaws. But somebody here, I'm not going to name names, but it wasn't me. Somebody here did not want to do Jaws because it's too fucking good. So they decided, let's do something that is just as fucking loved by the both of us.
Both loved.
But we can talk about it because it's a little bit more. Well, you described it as a cult followed movie, yeah?
Correct, cults. It's got cults.
For me to be in a cult, it would have to be people killing themselves because of this movie. Or
nobody's killing themselves.
Yeah, or like chopping an arm off and being like, "Yo, I follow this cult where we all chop our arms off."
That's a little silly.
But
But the movie today is Army of Darkness.
Or
Oh yeah, some people call it Ash versus the Army of Darkness.
Or Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness. No, wait. Ash versus the Army of Darkness is the TV show?
No, that's the TV show is Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Right, so Ash versus... I think it's called Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness. Is the actual name of the movie, which I always thought was awesome as fuck. Because who is Bruce Campbell? There's no such thing.
There is no Bruce Campbell.
not within the characters in the movie.
Nope, none of them named Bruce.
No one. But I think... number one, how much love for this movie?
Well, before we get into our opinions of the movie, let's go over the movie real quick.
All right. Yeah.
Army of Darkness. First, there was Evil Dead, which is supposed to be
third in a trilogy of awesome, bloody, cheap-ass movies.
Very cheap. Evil Dead was supposed to be a scary movie.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be frightening. It was supposed to be one of those B movies that came out in that era.
Right.
That's supposed to be scary, and it didn't. It wasn't scary.
No, but what it was within the birth of the independent film. There wasn't the birth, but like during the era of independent films, it was one of those films. There was a guy with his friends and
Yeah,
his brother making a movie, which sounds awesome as fuck.
as fuck. Unless you have my brother.
Well, yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know your brother. I was gonna say, but then part two
Part two was
basically is part one,
yeah, it's really much the same movie done over again, but as a comedy,
right? Which was fucking perfect.
which is such an ingenious original. Like no one's ever done. No one still has done that. Like let's just do the same movie again,
Well,
but it's going to be funny instead of serious.
actually, Airplane, the movie Airplane, is a remake of another movie that I don't know, literally like almost shot by shot.
But not with the same people.
No. Well, you're right. So like this one was more like, look, this is stupid. So instead of trying to take it seriously, let's make fun of it. And then Army of Darkness, as the third in the trilogy,
Number 3.
is the best at doing that. It's super campy. It's tongue in cheek. It is awesome. I saw this movie. I went to the movie theater. I did not know. I don't think. No, I knew. But the problem is the point being, I don't think I remembered the Evil Dead when I went to see Ash versus the Army of Darkness. But there was something familiar about it.
Well, Army of Darkness came out in '92.
Right, and the last Evil Dead came out like in '82, like 10 years before.
So I was just becoming born. Sixto was just celebrating his sweet 16.
Not.
And then, oh no, I'm sorry, he's Spanish, so they do it the 15th birthday. So
My
it was a year after his quinceañera. And then he saw Evil Dead. And then 10 years later, when he was 25, he saw Army of Darkness. And I saw it much later when it came on to DVD. My dad actually showed it to me because I was
awesome.
I was really little and I didn't know about these movies when they came out.
Right.
But the movie's awesome. The movie starts out with them in the cabin where Evil Dead ends, and Ash ends up going to medieval times.
He gets sucked up into whateverness.
Like a time warp or something.
Right.
The darkness and sucks him back to medieval times. And the only way he can get back is by finding Necronomicon and reciting a passage, and he go back to his own time.
Correct.
And Ash is one of these arrogant, very self-absorbed characters who thinks he's the man, but he really isn't the man.
I think of Ash as a product of Magnum PI. Like, he's the guy that thinks he's Magnum PI. Do you even know what Magnum PI is?
You're dating yourself here, buddy.
God damn it. Well, anybody that's over 20 knows what Magnum PI is.
No, I'm 34. Magnum PI wasn't around when I was a kid. Magnum PI was old when I was a kid. So maybe anybody over 45.
Fuck off. The point being,
47.
Magnum PI was kind of that character, but Ash is kind of making fun of Magnum PI. I mean, I don't know if that's honestly true, but I think it comes from that air of like Magnum was the guy that was like, hey, all right. You know, like the kind of guy that's an asshole, pop his collar, wear a hat and shorts.
And he doesn't think anything can happen to him. Like
Right.
he's
Indestructible.
yeah, he believes he's the greatest thing. So there's nothing that he has no self-doubt.
Right.
So he can fight these monsters and win
Right.
because he has no fear of losing to the monsters.
Well, he thinks the monsters can't win. So what do you have to lose? Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then he's got one hand to chainsaw,
Which is awesome.
which because he had to cut off his own hand in Evil Dead because his hand was infected by
The evil
the
dead.
evil. So he cut it off before it infected his body. And now he's got a chainsaw hand, and then he has his boomstick, which is a double gauge shotgun.
That he
shotgun.
bought at S-Mart.
S-Mart, where he works. He works at S-Mart.
Shop Smart. Shop S-Mart.
That's the slogan of S-Mart. And it's real, and he's stuck in an era where I guess he gets the 70s. I guess he's stuck kind of in the 70s.
Kind of.
Ash. I guess that's when he was, 20-something, and it was his, the prime of his life when he was
I don't think
top of the world.
but I gotta say, I believe in some way, as Bruce Campbell was getting older, I think the movie moved forward to accommodate his age. So he must have been in his 30s by the time of that, because he's in his 60s now, right?
Yeah, I think he's definitely in his 30s. There.
So he was in his 30s. I think he played as a 30-year-old Ash. That
Yeah,
just
me
was
too.
overconfident. Like, it's not like, it doesn't make sense that when he was like 19 when the first Evil Dead was done, that he was the same guy. Like, like the same 19-year-old for all three movies.
Yeah.
I think he was like a guy in his 30s. Like the character itself was a guy in his 30s.
Who thought he was a guy in his 20s.
Right. That was like, yo, no, man, come on. I'm awesome. I wear a Hawaiian shirt. Like,
Kind of like Sixto. The
Hey,
guy in his 40s.
I'm not in my 40s.
The guy is
I am not in my
his
40s.
late 20s.
I'm not in my,
Point proven.
anyways, oh, god damn it, I hate you. By the way, speaking of hate, let me make a parenthesis here. Parenthesize.
He's parenthesizing.
Last podcast, I said I was going to stab you to death. Number one,
I'm still here.
yes, I'm incredibly happy because I do love you.
But I do have a scar
You don't.
in my side
No, you don't.
that requires 20
And I have to
stitches.
say this on recording, as I said the other thing on recording, I will never fucking harm you.
And he's not holding a knife to me right now as he
Right
says
now,
this.
I'm not. You better.
I'm not saying this under distress. Call 911. Call 911.
But that was a joke, and I want to make sure that I say this so that when we go to court after you get stabbed by some random fucking crazy person, it's not me. I don't have to explain it. I love you very much.
I'm being forced to do this.
Stop it. Anyways, back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
Back to the Future. The part about this movie that I loved the most
The most out of anything.
is how self-aware and campy it is. I love.
Yeah, it was done on
that.
purpose.
Absolutely. The moment Ash falls through the tunnel, and he falls on the mat, and you can see when he falls,
Mhm.
the mat lifts. He falls on the ground. To me, is one of my favorite. It's like it is so charmingly done that it makes perfect sense that he lives, and you're like, yeah, he falls on a mat.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I'm okay with that.
And then Henry the Red is there. It just nothing fucking makes sense in this movie.
Nothing makes sense.
Whatsoever. And it's obvious that it's just more like, wow, let's just write something super silly
Yeah.
and do it because we can, because we're financing ourselves.
And they couldn't even, like, the main enemy is Ash.
Right.
Like, it's just him.
As played by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, he didn't even hire the guy to be the villain. In the middle of the movie, at some point, Ash gets infected, and he goes into a mirror, and the mirror crashes, and all these bunch of little ashes come up, and they form one big ash.
Well, that's a very bad explanation. He goes into the mirror in this wicked forest.
Wicked.
And in the mirror, all that is bad about him is exaggerated. So he breaks the mirror, and all the reflections of him in the little mirrors pop up. So now instead of the one reflection on the one mirror, you have 50 little mirrors, you have 50 little reflections.
Yeah, but this is the whole body, so the little ashes running around.
Right. So one of them falls into his mouth, grows out of his body,
Yeah.
and becomes evil Ash.
Now it's evil. There's good Ash.
Right.
And it's evil Ash.
Well, there's asshole Ash and evil Ash is the way I like to see it.
And you're a bad Ash. You're a goody little two shoes.
Right.
So then that becomes the main villain who raises the army of dead to
Well-
attack Ash in the castle because they're both fighting to get the Necronomicon.
Necronomicon. The other part that's funny and very hilarious about this movie is the fact that Ash is supposed to say this chant the moment he picks up the
book.
book, the Necronomicon, because
3
otherwise erases the Evil Dead. So fucking Ash, not the Evil Dead, but the Army of Darkness actually. Stupid Ash forgets the words because he's so arrogant.
And he's
just
foolish, yeah.
Right, he's just like,
He's a bozo.
instead of saying Nectar, what is it?
Nectu, Malata, Nictu?
Right, he's something like that. He says Nectu Malaka.
And he can't think of the third word.
Right, and then he goes, and then he grabs the book. But by the way, one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen is him getting away with that shit. I was laughing out loud in the movie theater, and I do remember because I did see this. Shut up, La Matina. Don't fucking say it. I do remember seeing this in the movie theater. I was a child,
A 15-year-old child.
just about, and
He lost his train of thought.
No, and I remember people being
I remember.
seriously angry at the fact that this movie was funny. Like I had people sitting next to me that were mad. And I would be like, what the fuck? This is fun, dude. It's like you talking about Star Wars.
It's fun.
It is fun. And then they were like, wow, it's not the Evil Dead and they're not evil enough. And it's not the Godfather Part 2. It's more like the Godfather Part 3.
Godfather Part 3. I didn't see it in the movies, and I never thought of it of any way but the way I perceive it now, so I never had an opinion.
Right.
I always thought it was supposed to be
Campy.
cheesy and campy and ridiculous, so
Right.
that's what it was, and it did that perfectly.
Right.
I read today, speaking of the scene where he messes up the words, at the end of the movie, he drinks a potion, and he ends up going back to S-Mart
Uh-huh.
and as a hero.
Right.
And then the villain comes and follows him, and he kills him, and he gets the girl at the
The
end.
Sea Witch.
That was the only ending in America. What I read today, there was a different ending that ended up in the UK,
Right.
where Ash did it wrong because he always does it wrong.
Uh-huh.
He drank way too much of the potion, and he
Uh-huh.
ends up in
In the future.
in a destroyed London with the Evil Dead is taken over.
Right. I actually do have that ending because I have about 27 versions of this movie. And in about 23 of the 27 versions that I own, there is the all the endings and the different cuts of it. And that ending actually, when I first saw it, I loved it. But I think I loved it because I had never seen it, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's a different ending that gives you a door to Evil Dead Part 4." Instead,
Yeah. I read today they're also doing a Army of Darkness Part 2 with the same director.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, he's doing Army of Darkness Part 2.
What do you mean the same director? Sam fucking Raimi.
Yeah, but he's the same director did it. It's not a different director.
Yeah, well, but you can't say the same director.
Why can't I say the same
Because
director?
he's Sam fucking Raimi. It's like saying they're making Jaws 2 with the same director.
That's exactly what it's like saying.
But it's stupid because it's like Steven Spielberg. Everybody knows Steven Spielberg.
Not everybody knows.
Everybody knows Jaws was made by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but not everybody knows Sam Raimi.
Well, everybody that be listening to this two
Maybe-
geeks and a movie as it is today.
Maybe they're being educated.
Well, you should have said Sam Raimi, who directed the first one. God damn it! Do I have to teach you how to talk now?
Everything.
I'm not gonna be alive forever, Matt.
Well, he didn't do all of the TV series. He just did the first episode, and other people have been doing
Right.
the Ash vs. the Evil Dead. It's been other people.
Right.
So that's what I mean by the same director did Army of Darkness. It's not the new director who's doing the TV series.
No.
It's the same director who did
Or the
Army of
director
Darkness.
that did the new Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Did you see that?
I did.
I didn't.
I think I actually saw it in the movie theaters.
Oh my God.
It was not good. Would you not recommend the remake of Evil Dead?
Well,
So, don't go see it. Make
I don't-
sure you're seeing the one from 1980, not the one from 2000, whatever.
no, that movie's something like 1970 something, dude. Let's see. Let's IMDb this shit right now.
He's gonna do it right now because we don't do prep. We do it during the
We
show
do it
on the
show.
spot.
Let's talk about
You
something
learn
else.
as I learn. So while Sixto is looking up information we should have looked up well before
Right.
the show.
Right. Go look at something else.
We're going to talk more about the movie. Ash, who has become a very cult, iconic figure in that world. He even had another movie where he goes, I think it was called I Am Bruce Campbell, where people think he's Ash, and there is demons or something around, and they come to him to help fight the evil, and he's like, I'm not Ash, I'm just Bruce Campbell, I can't help you fight these people. And the movie was pretty good as well.
Huh.
It's on the same type of level as, Evil Dead 2, and
Right,
it's cheesy, and,
Right.
but
I love that first episode.
if you love Bruce Campbell, you'll love that movie as well.
Right. Actually, I stand corrected. You were right.
What a
The
surprise.
Evil Dead is 1981. So finally, you get 1 point.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. You were right. Anyways, I am very excited to hear there is a...
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness 2.
oh my God, because I love the Army of Darkness so much. and it's one of those movies that if you find somebody else that loves it, like in the case where you told me about the show.
The show.
Or did I tell you about the trailer for the show?
I think I told you.
You told me?
I think so.
Yeah, you told me. When you told me, I was like, you love that movie? Because either nobody knows that movie or nobody knows that movie. Like, there's no in between.
There's no in between. You either love it or you have no idea it exists.
Right. It's there or not. And I found it, like my heart leaped. It was such a sad moment because I went around telling people like, oh my God, look at this trailer. It's the best thing in the world. And like Joe Rupolo, our friend at work, was like, what the fuck are you, why? What is this? What are you showing me?
And all he was showing him was awesomeness.
Awesomeness. But if you didn't understand what Army of Darkness was or The Evil Dead was, not the new version, but the original, you probably will be in this situation where you're like, why the fuck are you showing me this? Why is this fun to you? Like, this is horrible.
Go see it.
Right.
You're listening to this right now. You don't know Army of Darkness. Pause our podcast. Go watch the movie. And then unpause the podcast.
Right. I think that should have been before we started talking.
You should have.
Giving all the plot points.
Yeah, I guess we should have said spoiler alert from a movie that came out 20 years ago.
Well, it's,
We should say that with Star Wars, too. But if you saw the original, that's also a spoiler alert. Because it's the same movie.
It's just, oh, come on.
So even at the end, when they destroy
I'm gonna kill you.
Destroy the Super Death Star, whatever that thing is called, they go into a little tunnel and they shoot the thing the same way they do with the Death Star. It's exactly the same movie.
That is the one point.
There was a bad. I did like 10 of them. We're not going to Star Wars again.
God damn it. That's the one time that I felt like this is too much like Star Wars when they went to the fucking tunnel. That's it. I'm not going back to Star Wars and letting you know how fucking awesome it is.
Dumb. Anyway, Army of Darkness, which we both agree is not dumb.
It's not dumb.
It's the opposite of dumb.
As a matter of fact, when he's dumb, it's perfectly dumb.
But it's dumb on purpose.
Right. Give me some sugar, baby. I love the one-liners.
He has a lot of one-liners. Everything is groovy.
Groovy. I went many years ago. They had Army of was it Ash versus the Evil Dead? I think it was called.
That's a TV series.
Musical.
Musical.
They did on the old $3 movie theater on 50th Street.
What?
Oh,
I missed that.
You missed that. It was so fucking awesome. And they kind of accumulated all 3 movies, so they do Evil Dead 1 and 2 as the first part.
Part 1.
Then you get a break in
Act
between.
1.
Act 1.
And Broadway is called Acts.
Sorry, I'm not a Broadway guy.
Act 1.
The first act is the first 2 movies. Then you go, you get a beer, you smoke a joint, you come back, you sit down, and then it's Army of Darkness from then on. And it's fucking awesome. But it only lasted about a week because,
Because it's Army of Darkness.
Right, and then the following show that they did there was the Toxic Avenger, the musical.
Now we're getting real bad.
Which was so fucking bad. I cried laughing. It was so bad. It was fucking delicious. But in the musical for this Army of Darkness, a lot of those one-liners became such a great thing to go through, to be like, oh, he's gonna say it, sharp ass smart, or whatever it was, a groovy baby. Like all that stuff was so perfect.
It was perfect. It was to a T.
Yeah.
And he becomes like the average man's hero. He's not super. He has no superpowers.
No.
He doesn't do anything special. He's not well educated. He's not a genius. He's an average guy.
Although, let me ask you about the statement you just made. At some point, and again, super massive fucking spoilers. At one point, Ash goes to his car when he realizes he has to get all the stuff and fight these people because he woke them up. So he kind of feels like, well, I'm responsible somehow. But really what he wants is like, send me fucking back into the future. And in order to do that, I have to defeat this Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that was funny about that is that he makes a hand out of... He makes a metal glove. But it works like a hand.
It works just like a hand.
It reacts to muscle movement. He has...
They never really explained how they technology.
But not only did he not explain it, he fucking made it.
Yeah, it was just like, there it is.
It wasn't like he had a magical friend that helped him do magic. He actually did that.
Yeah.
And then...
In the metal shop, he's just,
Yeah, and he made Every machine that's in that thing.
Even the chainsaw hand.
Yes, he
So,
came
like-
from and so explain to me how he's the everyman.
You can't. Well, that's not explainable because that's something. They don't even explain what they do. They just all of a sudden there's a scene where the couple of it's a like a montage of different views of them putting the hand together, and all of a sudden he has a hand.
This makes no sense.
The chainsaw it still makes no sense. The chainsaw just connects to his hand.
Dude, when they throw it down, it's like stranger. And he throws it into the thing, and he puts it on, he goes, groovy. And he starts chopping heads off. He makes no sense. It always, that was part of the charm that got to me the most, was the fact that at a certain point, he becomes Dr. Octopus, for lack of better words. He becomes the guy that can do all the technology in the world. Or, he's like a Bond villain. I don't know. Like, who's a super genius? He becomes like Dexter's Laboratory. It makes no sense, dude. This guy who works at S-Mart
S-Mart.
is able to do all this shit. Why wouldn't he be like doing all that shit for everyone else in the world?
It doesn't make sense. And I don't think it's supposed to make sense.
I love it.
But besides that one scene, yes, he is the average man, the everyday hero.
He's not. He never is.
He is. His only superpower is his arrogance.
Hey, sea bitch. That's my thing.
Yeah.
He just looks at the water witch and goes, hey, sea bitch. He just shoots her in the face.
There's a ton of one-liners in the movie,
It's so perfect.
which is so cheesy because he stops everything to say his one-liners.
Are you looking for Evil Dead one-liners?
I'm looking for Ash one-liners
Do it.
because I can't remember all of them, but I'm sure we could find some.
Let me tell you what you look for that. The idea of the one-liner as being brought to life by Arnold Schwarzenegger and everything he did, and most better than all as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Where he had the worst one-liners ever.
He had terrible worst lines. I've heard a couple of shows have. But
was made so perfect here and likable.
Yeah, like this was supposed to happen.
Right.
He's got "Hail to the King," baby.
He's getting he rescues the chick and he just wants to make out with her. He just says that.
Was another one. He says, we've mentioned some of this already. Groovy, shop smart, shop S-Smart. Baby, you got real ugly. When he's making out with a girl, and then she gets infected by the darkness. And when you get infected by the darkness, your face becomes a dead face, pretty much.
Right.
So she's
like full of worms.
She's like, you loved me once.
You loved me once. You loved me again. It's like,
baby, you got real ugly.
Real ugly.
And remember you made the car?
Right.
They put the big fan on the car.
And it almost looked like a helicopter car.
Yeah.
It's just chopping, and the worst of the effects going into that scene, and
like half the budget was that scene.
Dude, and they have these skeletons that were basically the army of darkness. It's all these dead warriors, and all those cheap skeletons that were just like puppet skeletons.
Yeah, a lot of terrible CGI.
Being chopped off by this propeller. So perfect.
Yeah, even the skeletons had like one line. Like they would
run
around yelling.
Even the one line out of nowhere. It's so perfect. I don't understand. There is no reason why this movie shouldn't be top notch. Like everybody should know this fucking movie, dude. It is so bad. And it is so fucking...
It's so bad, it's good.
But it's not bad in the sense like when you went to see Ghostbusters, where it was just bad, and you were like, fuck, this is disappointing, and my stomach hurts from watching it. It's more bad as in, oh my god, this is made that way specifically so that you can be like, I can make fun of this, and it's perfect. They hit the mark.
You want to be Bruce Campbell. when this movie ends.
Absolutely.
You want to be
Absolutely. More than all, you know, uh, uh, it's interesting to me though that so many people don't know this movie, especially from the cult following that the first Evil Dead grew, because in those days of those horror movies, I don't know why people liked it so much. It's a shitty fucking movie.
Ash. Yeah.
Although there's a tree raping a girl, which I'm sure
it was the start of something good. It wasn't. It was like our first podcast. It was remnants of some good stuff, but not great yet. And it still needed some molding into something.
And just like our first podcast, only 3 people. Actually, that's not true. Our first podcast got like.
We are doing well on the internet.
Yeah, I got some views.
Our Star Wars views is already at 18.
Yeah.
Our Ghostbusters at 87.
Wow.
So people are listening, and they're listening again and again, apparently.
I like that. I like that the 87 moves to this podcast, to the last one and this one, so that I can feel like I accomplished something with my life.
We're accomplishing something. 100 more shows will be in triple digits.
I just want to ask, out of the 87 views, 40 are mine, 40 are yours, 6 are your mom's, and 1 is from Mike Humphries.
Mike Humphries, our number 1 fan.
Our number 1 and only fan. And I want to know if I don't know. I just wish somebody would say how horrible we are at this, because that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the comment where it's like, "You fucking idiots! Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know how to podcast."
Well, I heard a bunch of people say that about your opinion on Star Wars.
No, that's never happened.
I did. A bunch of people.
That's not true.
I run the message board. I know.
There's no message board.
There is a board of messages.
Nobody's messaging you.
Hey. I've gotten a lot of messages. They may all be from the same fake account run by me, but they all say Matt's right.
There's no such thing. But anyways, I do have to say, thanks for the 87 people. Well, more like the 40 people that heard.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We're hoping to keep putting out new stuff.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about Army Doctor. We talked about how much we loved it.
Now, can I ask you something? Because there's something that you said.
You can't.
I can't? All right, let's move on then.
All right. Shoot it.
When you said cult, I never understood the term cult following, because as you well know, I mean, all of these people listening to my accent probably don't know this, but I'm not American.
He is not American. He's not even legal.
Well, actually, I am American because I was born in the American continent. But what I mean to say is I'm not of the United States.
He's not a United States citizen.
I am a United States citizen. I voted for Obama twice. Oh, I already lost half of our... But cult following.
Cult following.
For me, a cult, the way that I understand it, is people wearing like hoods.
You're wrong.
And togas.
A cult,
and drinking Kool-Aid and killing themselves.
A cult is a small group of people who are overly obsessed with one thing.
Like you and I are with Army of Darkness.
Yes, that's why it's called a cult following. Because it's not, on the grand scheme of movies, it's probably not very good.
Right.
But there is a small group of a couple of thousand, maybe 10,000 people who love Army of Darkness to death.
Right. Oh, that makes perfect sense to me now. So, like, is the devotion from a small group or something that otherwise would be seen as shit?
Correct.
Ah. Well, thanks for explaining that.
We just taught Sixto some English.
Yes. Now I'm gonna use cult for everything I do.
Yeah.
I have a cult following of my sex. Because when I have sex, it's a very small group that's satisfied.
Very
namely
small.
Me.
And small is the key word.
But I'm super highly satisfied with it.
He's very satisfied
with
my
sex.
He's the only one satisfied.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I would. I've talked to them, and they've
you never known anyone that I've had sex with.
Well, they mostly spoke Spanish, and I didn't get most of what they were saying.
That's number one, not true.
But I do understand bad at sex.
Anyways, moving away from my amazing sex, which I've never heard a complaint about. I have you know. Well, that's not
Because
true.
he hasn't listened.
That's not true. That never is a strong word. But out of them, the 6 people I've had sex with, mostly men, there's only been 2 complaints.
After he's paid them, they've never made a complaint.
and before anybody,
No matter if it was pesos or whatever.
or what kind of pesos, Mexican,
Some-
Ecuadorian, like any pesos whatsoever, Dominican,
I don't know
doesn't
what you
matter.
down there.
Um,
But
I will say, let me clarify. I've never had sex with a man before this goes out there. Anybody that
free.
knows me is like, what's going on, Sixto? Anything you want to tell us that you didn't say in your podcast? Anyways,
I would
whatever.
say
I digress.
he digresses into men.
So in the cult following view,
Cult.
so would you say then, like for example, I really love Kevin Smith movies.
Okay.
But I think in the grand scheme of things, Kevin Smith movies are probably cult-followed movies, right?
Probably that he has a cult following.
Right?
That's what we could say, because it's not critically acclaimed.
Although Chasing Amy is actually an honestly good movie. And I think Clerks, the first Clerks, even though it's not my favorite Kevin Smith movie, you know, it's actually critically acclaimed.
Critically, I don't know if it's critically acclaimed.
Yeah, man, I think so. I think it was like the start of that independent movement that made it huge. Like after him, independent films was a feel, not a reality. It wasn't really independent. It just looked independent. It kind of looked like it was made in a basement.
Kind of was made in the basement.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, and it started, but it's more of a cult following than a mass audience.
Okay.
It's not, it's not Star Wars.
Well, nothing is Star Wars but Star Wars.
It's not Ghostbusters.
Well, nothing is Ghostbusters but Ghostbusters. I will say, you know what's like Star Wars? The original Battlestar Galactica.
What am I doing here?
I don't know. I think you're learning stuff.
I'm learning about terrible things.
The original Battlestar Galactica was Star Wars made for TV.
What happened to Army of Darkness? How
Oh.
did we get off this?
I don't know.
And get to Battlestar Galactica.
I don't know. I think we're talking about cults and how you like to drink Kool-Aid
I like to drink Kool-Aid
in a cult.
in a cult. I wish I was drinking some Kool-Aid in a cult right now.
Anyways, dick. Anyways, Army of Darkness, I give it 11 out of 5 stars.
11. I might even go 12.
Yeah, man. It is quite an enjoyable, lighthearted, awesome fucking movie. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your criteria is. If
What age
watch
you
it-
are.
No, if you watch it, you will enjoy it. There's no way you do not like that movie. As a matter of fact, my father, who does not speak any fucking English whatsoever, when I first got Army of Darkness on tape, I would bring it to the house and play it because I was like, it's Army of Darkness. And he would sit there and watch it with me and laugh out loud and not really know even what he was even laughing. But I do remember that
Sounds
he,
like your dad's crazy.
well, a little bit, but I do remember him saying, "What's this guy's name?" And then he couldn't quote him, he couldn't tell you what was happening in the movie because it's all in English. But he would be like, "Oh, like that guy Ash would do this," and I would be like, "What?" So even my dad, who only likes James Bond and westerns, actually likes the Army of Darkness. That really is, to me, that really points to how enjoyable this fucking movie is. And you don't even have to hear it. You can just laugh at it.
Just laugh at it.
It's awesome.
It's a fun night.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously.
No.
It's a comedy.
yeah.
And remember when it was made in 92. So remember what you're looking at, the term 92. It's not from 2016. But so the CGI isn't great. Like in the end when he's fighting the head skeleton and going up the mountain
shit.
with the sword.
You know what I just remembered?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Because you just said that. In 92, I didn't speak a lot of English. So even I saw that movie not speaking. I think I caught some of the story from seeing it because I think I was beginning to speak English a little bit. So I kind of got some of the stuff, but I didn't really get the grand scheme of stuff. I didn't get like the sarcasm of the give me some sugar.
Give me some sugar.
But I think I got it enough. Like I laughed enough at it that I actually, even without knowing what it meant, bought it, owned it, and like I said,
It made him want to learn how to speak English.
Well, that's not true.
Bruce Campbell is responsible for making Sixto want to learn English and come to America.
No.
Find an Necronomicon. That's why he's here.
That's true.
He wants to find the book.
There is no. I have a Necronomicon that I have from the movies came out in this Necronomicon cover. All three of them in this like special sleeve book Necronomicon cover, which was awful because it's like rubbery and really nasty. And I have them all like that, so I do have the Necronomicon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you don't have the true Necronomicon. Like I have a Necronomicon at my house too. My dad has one. My brother has one. They didn't make 50 of them. There's one. There's one true book, and Sixto is searching for it.
I am every weekend when I'm not recording this. I'm looking for the Necronomicon.
Every day, and that's why he called Extra Superhero, because he's tried to make a fake hand, and he has failed at every attempt.
Well, I tried it before I chopped mine off because I wanted to make sure.
He's even doing it with two hands.
Right, and I can't do it.
And he can't do it. Ash to do it with one. Not a problem. In the 1300s, or whatever it goes back to. And in 2016, with two hands, Sixto.
I can't do it. I've been trying since '92, man. Can't get it done. Yeah, man. I think we've reached our quota here. What do you think?
I think we've done enough on Army of Darkness. You should go see it if you haven't never seen it. If you have seen it, go watch it again.
And then come listen to this again.
And comment on how dead on we are with our points here. But speaking of cult movies,
yeah,
let's give them a little homework. Maybe there's some other cult movies out there.
Well, since we mentioned cult, and I mentioned Kevin Smith, can I tell you my favorite Kevin Smith movie?
Please do.
Dogma. Chris fucking Rock. Chris Rock. As the 13th apostle.
13th. Isn't, what's her name? Who's God?
Yeah, Alanis Morissette.
She doesn't say a word, right? She just has that high-pitched
sing. She
sing.
can't, because she's God.
Yeah.
Well, don't ruin it.
It's Dogma. It came out like 5 years after Army of Darkness did.
It's true.
If you haven't seen Dogma, I'm sorry. Turn off the podcast now.
No, don't turn it off. Just don't.
Sorry, pause it.
Don't
watch
pause
Dogma.
it either. No, don't do that.
Back.
Don't do that.
It's got a lot of big stars.
He has, and he's actually a very funny, very great. And if you were raised Catholic, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, yeah. He has Jason Lee.
Well, Jason Lee's in all their movies, right?
I think from the second one on, he's in most of them, yeah. So was Affleck. Affleck was in.
Affleck's in a bunch of them, yeah.
Yeah. From the second one on, which also Mallrats. Love Mallrats.
Shannon Doherty.
Yeah, man, great.
Before she was crazy.
Before she was a nutcase. She went out with Smith, I think. I think they were a couple after that movie. Because she said, "You can write. How about you?"
Yeah. I need someone to write me the parts.
Is that what happened?
90210 is coming to an end.
What? Oh yeah, well she needed
a second gig.
Second gig. Anyways, yeah, go see Dogma. What is your?
My cult movie. We're gonna go back. There's a bunch of them, but one I'm thinking about in particular right now. It's also like an '80s movie. UHF.
Oh shit.
Weird Al
Yankovic. And
Michael Richards is in it.
Wait, you say Yankovic?
Yankovic.
I say Yankovic.
I think it ends with an ick, but it could be an itch. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Weird Al. Michael Richards is in the movie.
Is that Kramer? Right.
He plays the janitor.
Right.
There's other like Fran Dresser's in the movie before she was the annoying nanny with that stupid laugh. She has like a bit role as the secretary.
Yeah, she's in there with her curly hair. That curly hair made me want to fuck her every time I saw her when I was a kid.
He loved curly hair. He still does.
Oh man, I wanted to fucking just put lotion in that hair. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, but
I wanted to put my penis in her vagina. You know what I mean?
In the hair.
No,
you wanted to have sex with the hair.
Oh my god damn it. Anyways, Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want to give you all the homework, so watch one of the two, I guess. If
All
you
the
have the
homework.
time, watch both of them.
Watch both of them. Dogma at UHF. You can have yourself a great
UHF
night.
is awesome, dude. I love UHF too. Well, this was a very loving after the last one where I almost killed you.
Yeah, last day was a lot of fighting, so we thought we'd do one where
we love the movie.
there's not
both
so
of
much
us.
fighting and
Right.
there's more love between
Love.
us.
And I love you, man. I mean, it's
I know, he loves man. We've established that. You could pay me afterwards. No butt stuff.
okay. And thank you for listening, man. I hope you like this one.
Next week, I feel like maybe we should do something maybe a little more current. We went
yeah?
back in time. We went back to the the early '90s. We went back to the late '80s. Maybe we'll come back.
Let's do something like Conan the Barbarian. It's really, really recent. But with
Conan
Arnold.
the Librarian.
Oh, that's the porno.
That's
the porno version.
That's UHF. He's the librarian.
No, but let's do something recent. I don't know.
I don't know. If you know a recent movie out there that's came out in the last, say, 3 to 5 years is a good...
I could give you 7 movies that came out in the last 3 to 5
Well,
years.
there's 1,000 movies that came out in the last 3 to 5 years, but I'm talking to the audience. I'm not talking to you.
Sorry.
If you guys have something out there that you want us to talk about, review, seem stupid and ignorant against, maybe next time we'll do something out of our comfort zone.
Element, yeah.
Maybe we'll do a rom-com or a drama.
A rom-com?
Yeah.
That's when you're going to have another friend sitting here, dude.
I'm telling you, sometimes we have to go out.
Other friend.
We did
Get another friend.
what, 3 science fiction comedies, movies?
Kind of. I mean, we didn't do Spaceballs.
Lighthearted movies. Like, we didn't do, like, Star Wars isn't a drama.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lighthearted action
Fantasy,
film.
yeah, action film. Right.
Ghostbusters, same thing. Army of Darkness, same thing. So maybe we change our genres up a little bit, give something the audience.
I mean, I can do a rom-com if it's something that I actually like.
It doesn't have to be a crazy rom-com. It could
No,
be
but it
like
could be
Seth, what's his
like
name?
You Got Mail. I love that movie.
I've never seen You Got Mail.
You better watch it. It's awesome.
I wasn't thinking that far.
You fall in love with Jack Nicholson.
I was thinking more like a Seth Rogen movie.
No, fuck Seth Rogen. I don't like him.
Or why don't you like Seth Rogen?
I don't know. He's a dick.
Why is he a dick?
I don't know. He's not funny.
He's funny.
He's not funny.
His audience around him is funny.
He's not funny.
Why isn't he funny?
He's not. He's not funny. He's just, that's all he does.
You didn't like Knocked Up?
I actually didn't like Knocked Up. He ruined it for me.
So you liked it until he got there?
Yeah. Which is the
I
very
think
first
it's the
scene.
first scene.
The
It's
first
star of
shot
the
is him
movie.
dancing to like ODB. That's not true. I really like that movie, but I don't know. Seth Rogen is hit and miss with me. I feel like I don't actually like him.
You didn't like Zack and Miri Make a Porno?
I did like Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
So we're 2 for 2.
But it's with him. I just feel like he's a good writer.
Did you see Sausage Party?
I did not see Sausage Party.
You would love Sausage Party.
That sounds like a gay porn, and I don't want to watch it.
Maybe next time we'll do Sausage Party.
Maybe if you right, okay, sure. That sounds like a good idea. We can do an actual comedy that's recent, like
Pure
in the last
comedy.
6 months.
It's 6 months.
Right.
We won't ruin it too much for you.
Right, no spoilers. All spoilers.
All spoilers.
All spoilers.
We're going to tell you what those sausages did.
Right, and they're going to tell you who dies at the end.
All about the partying.
The whole party.
Who gets drunk.
Sausage Party sounds like a gay porno, and I'm scared of watching it.
I'm 100% sure there's a gay porno called Sausage Party.
I'm 200% sure.
I'm sure there's more than one called Sausage Party.
There's like a collection of them. It's like 1 through 20.
And they all have sequels. There's 20 original Sausage Parties.
So the first one is Sausage Party. The second one is Sausage Party 2. Add the sauerkraut.
Family Pack.
That's number 6. Sausage Party 6. Family Pack.
Jumbo sausage.
They all have the subtitles and all food driven.
Yeah.
All right, man.
No buns allowed.
Oh man. Sausage Party 17. I'm on a diet. Just sausage. Oh man. All right. I think. Yeah, man. Let's do sausage party next.
Maybe okay. Next time, next podcast, maybe in a week or so, we'll hit you with sausage party.
Party.
Party. It's a party. It's a party in my mouth. Sausage party 16.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and I keep promising you, we're gonna have some social media presence, and it's coming shortly.
I mean, unfortunately, that all falls on you because I'm not a social media guy and I feel horrible.
Just because he's 67 years old.
Well, and I don't know how to use the internet.
Computer's scary.
The internet is scary.
I don't know what's going on down there.
But I'm willing to help, so you can make me help you.
He's willing to help. Any person who speaks Spanish on social media will be answered by Six Toe.
Right.
I'll take care of
In
everything
Spanish.
else. In Spanish.
Not Italian, not French, goddammit. Spanish.
Spanish. If you say anything but English or Spanish, we will not get back to you. We will block you from our social media pages.
No.
Don't bring that shit here.
No, it's fine.
We're giving you the top two. Figure out one of the two.
Well, all right, I guess.
That's as far as I'm willing to go. Don't bring that shit.
Isn't your last name fucking Italian or French? What is it, Italian?
It's Italian,
Well, the Italian
but
should
it
be
could
allowed
also
too.
be French. Lamatina is Italian and French.
Well, then French and Italian should be allowed.
No,
Okay.
not allowing either.
Discuss.
I know our podcast isn't that popular, and we should take as many fans as we want.
Right.
But if you don't speak English or Spanish, I don't want you.
Wow. I do.
All right.
So come to my side.
Go to the Sixto side and stay away from my side. Thank you. This has been another edition of
Sixto Reynoso presents Two Friends and a Movie, starting The Army of Darkness. Thanks, Matt Lamatina, for showing up today. We don't really need you every other show.
I was the second friend today.
Yeah, we don't really need you ever.
We don't need me.
Except you record everything and put it online. But other than that, I can just send you some files.
So we don't need you.
What?
We don't need you.
You need me.
You don't.
I'm the sausage in this party.
You're going away. Maybe I'll get another friend in here. And we'll see what happens.
Well, what?
Oh yeah. Now you're sorry. So this might be the last Two Friends in the Movie with Matt and Six Toe.
So
it might be a different name after Six Toe next week.
Maybe.
But we'll see. I'll keep it in the title just in case people search that.
Right.
It'll still be there.
But it will be with someone else.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe it'll just be me. I'll hold one mic, I'll hold the other mic. I'm like, Matt, how do you feel about Star Wars? I'm like, Matt, Star Wars sucks. I was like, fuck yeah, Matt. That's why I brought you into the
Awful
show.
podcast, dude. Already sucks.
Yeah, that's not my best.
All right, man. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you like it. Hope you keep coming back.
See you next time.
Bye.